Hey, I'm Shiraz, and I'm about to shift someone's limiting beliefs, get them to step out of a story that they have been addicted to for possibly months, possibly decades. Now, here's the cool thing. I'm going to ask them, are you willing to step out of that story? And when I ask them that, you can say yes if you have the same story, and it's going to shift for you too. You may actually feel it in your body. Now, when people shift, there is a shift in energy. I tend to yawn and cough even through the Zoom platform. So be prepared for that. It's a little weird. I know. I don't know why my body does it. I just go with it at this point. So watch the video, check out more videos that I've done to get more shifts and have a good time.
Hey, Shiraz. Um, so yesterday I was working on something for my business, writing down just a bunch of
Oops.
things that I
Sorry.
wanted to bring in and have. And as I wrote the list, I noticed that any of the things that were bigger than things I actually had the funds for right now,
Mhm.
I couldn't believe them. I thought, oh, but those are going to take a really long time.
Hmm.
Like it was that I could only believe it if I had the money right then, and I know I'm getting caught up in the how, but yeah, I just couldn't get past it.
Okay. Yeah. So stop giving a shit about the how.
Okay.
So yeah. Um, and then it comes back to Marketers Cruise. That at the time I had signed up for the Marketers Cruise, I was invested in so many programs. I had no idea how I was going to pull that money out, but I put the deposit down anyway. And then I just had to figure it out. The how showed up.
Okay.
Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that if you don't know how, you shouldn't move forward?
I I want to say yes, but when I do,
Okay.
it's scary right here. Like there's this huge fear.
Okay. So once you set that intention that I'm doing it,
Mhm.
the people, the resources, they will start to show up. Does that mean you will accomplish it? No, they may not. You may not. However, you will learn from it. You will fail and gain knowledge. You will fail and gain knowledge. Right.
Okay.
And the how will eventually show up. I did an event in 2023 near the end of the year, spent $25,000 putting on that event. I had zero sales. Okay. I had to re examine what I did, talk to my coaches, revamp, and I decided not to do it this year. Instead, I said, let's just put all the learnings into the New Year's Eve event. We did the New Year's Eve event. The New Year's Eve event did $130,000 in sales. Okay. And it did not cost $25,000 like the other event. It was about, I think it was about $5,000 to put on that event. I'm going to be doing a debrief on this later this month. So tell everyone everything I did for New Year so you can duplicate the results. Anyone that's in my program gets to come for free, and I'm going to charge like a minor, like $10 to anyone else if they want to find out. But this is because I was determined to get there, and I didn't know the how. Now, the cool thing about the way the universe works is sometimes the how just shows up. Sometimes the path to the how shows up, and sometimes you don't even need to do the how because the result magically shows up. So you bypass the how entirely, and it's just there. That's an option. Okay.
That sounds like a good
It
option.
is a great option. It's happened to me several times, and I'm always so grateful when it happens. However, if you don't start with that intention that this is what I'm going to do, you never get it. You'll put it off, keep having excuses, you'll keep getting scared.
Okay.
So, you know, there's a phrase out there, feel the fear and do it anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
So, how will you feel if you fail?
I think incredibly disappointed, embarrassed, but I think what's at the like that I'm not going to get back up again. Like this will be the one to finish me. I think there's that in there. A little bit of like I'm going to end up on the street. Like I think that's where it all goes back to.
Okay. So, one of the techniques I learned years ago, and it's just popped into my head, so apparently you need to hear it, is when that kind of a image comes in your hand, take it to the ridiculous, because then it takes you out of fear and into comedy.
Okay.
So I'll be on the streets, and I'll be a hobo, and I'll be like getting on the trains with that little thing, that little knapsack, right? And I'll be visiting my friends and saying, "Hey, I'm just here. I haven't bathed in 7 weeks. Can I just come in?" And you just get real. See, now you're laughing about it, okay?
Right.
So the
Yeah.
fear goes away when you take it to the ridiculous,
Okay.
right? I did not make money for 2 years of my life, zero income, and I was couch surfing with my family and friends. And it was a big realization. Just I think it was last year or something, because someone said they were talking to someone who had a rough life, and um, but then became successful. And they said, "Was it all smooth?" And he goes, "No, there were times where I was staying at my parents' place or staying at a friend's place because things were tough." Right. And this guy was also complaining about a homeless person. Right. And he said, "What's with these homeless people? Why can't we do anything?" He said, "But the only difference between a homeless person and you was you had a support network and the homeless person doesn't. That's the only difference." And he's like, "Oh my God." Right. So you have a support network, Jessica.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing you're afraid of is not going to happen.
Right.
That's why you want to take it to the ridiculous, because then you're like, "No, that's never going to happen." Like, come on. And when the fear goes away, you start taking action.
Right. And I think when I get that fear away, the other one that's in the way is then I'll just be a burden to everybody.
So if someone is really, really struggling and they look to you for help, how do you feel when you help them?
I feel really good if they're helpable, if they're coachable, you
Are you
know?
coachable, Jessica?
Yes, that I know to be true.
Then what's the problem?
They don't know. I don't
You're
know. I'm just
do
afraid.
okay. So here's the thing. All these fears, people are going to think I'm a burden. Again, that's worrying what other people think.
Right.
Right? I'm going to feel like a failure. You're projecting what your emotions are going to be. You can choose what your emotions are going to be.
Right.
Right? When I did an event and I had zero sales after spending $25,000, I was sad for about 2 hours. And then I was just like, okay, let's just analyze it, look at it, and move on.
Okay.
And here's the thing: if you fail, there's going to be moments of this, like time of disappointment. That's normal. You're a human. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is how long they stay in the sadness of failure.
Right.
Right. Just at breakfast today, um, Tom Matson was talking about this guy with the golf, playing golf, and there's golfers out there where they hit the ball and they can tell they've hit it wrong. And 3 holes later, they're still in that funk of how could I do that? And he
Right.
said there was a guy he met that hit the ball and he would be out of the funk before the ball hit the ground.
Wow.
And he said, "How do you do that?" Because he's like, "I can get over it fairly, but I can't get over it in the time the ball lands on the ground." And he said, I'm also a baseball player, and the next pitch is coming right away. You can't hit a ball if you're like, so it's this conditioning, right? So he trained himself to just not be sad for long periods of time because it's going to cost him his success, right? You're going to be sad. I don't recommend staying happy all the time. That's unhealthy. Your body is going to go through emotions to let it process those emotions, but you can control how long you stay in.
Right.
Okay. So are you willing to step out of a story that if you fail, it will be the end of you?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of the story that if you fail, you will be a burden?
Yes.
And you never know how things can go. Right now, I live with my best friend. The reason I live with my best friend is those 2 years I wasn't making any money. He was the seventh person I came to stay with because I just kept going from place to place, right? And ended up with him. We we just started living together, and and it just became such a symbiotic relationship that when I mentioned, I'll probably be moving out at some point because this is your house, he's like, oh no, you're not. Like, you're just this works. So yeah, right. And it's fun. I know I'm not a burden. There may have been a time I was, that's not because I stayed in the place of I'm going to be successful. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep going. Right. Resilience is a key component of success. Right. Because even if you have a plan, here's the big thing on the how, Jessica. You have a plan, you know how. I got news for you. That's not how it's going to go. Okay.
I know.
Go to any successful person and say, did your plan go according to plan? And they will laugh at you. Okay. So that's the whole thing about, worrying about knowing all the different ways, all the different hows. A bunch of them just aren't going to work.
Right.
Right. But new hows that do work will show up along the path.
Okay.
Okay. So the way I like to describe it is most entrepreneurs are on the east side of the city, trying to get to the west side of the city, and they're refusing to go until they know they're going to hit every green light along the way. Good fucking luck. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So once you just put your foot on the gas, you're going. You're going to hit some red lights. You're going to hit some detours. If you're in Toronto, you're going to hit a ton of construction, but you will get there. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. How are you feeling?
That feels better. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's give Jessica some love. Hey, did you like that? I hope so. I hope you got a great shift out of it. And just keep in mind, there are hundreds of videos on this channel. You can watch them, say yes when I ask you to step out of story, and get more shifts. I have clients that do that every single day. Now, if you want to work with me in person, just go to the link down there for Ignite Your Success. And that's where these videos come from. I do a free workshop every month, the second Monday of the month. And the cost for admission, it's not money. You're going to end up here on the YouTube channel. If you're okay with that, happy to work with you. If you want more privacy, we'll then look into some of my programs. We're going to have some more information on them below. Anyway, thank you. We're off. Enjoy your life. Don't be afraid to be the happiest person in the room. Got it? Okay. Bye.